Well, Ann Coulter, one of the biggest selling authors in the U.S., and of course a great columnist, you should have her latest book, Resistance is Futile. Especially you Democrats, read this. You're not following the book. You'd learn what to do. Resistance is Futile. And you make sure you follow Ann Coulter on Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. Ann Coulter, how you doing?
Fantastic. How are you, Mark Simone?
Excellent. Hillary Clinton says what Donald Trump is doing is endangering us all. Is she talking about politicians who put relatives on the payroll of companies?
Right, or demand that a prosecutor stop prosecuting a company that Biden's son is on the board of. No, they've really outdone themselves with this one. I will say, I assume, in fact, I've probably said on your program, I thought the Democrats would impeach Trump within a few months of taking the House. So don't be alarmed by that. They have a majority. I don't know why they've wasted so much time. They're all out of their minds. It'll mean nothing. But I do think Americans need to, as I said in my column this week, read the transcript yourself. Because right now it's MSNBC and the New York Times, the Democrats, who are hiding it from you. I mean, you had that little thing yesterday with, I think it was yesterday, yeah, with Adam Schiff fantasizing, the conversation he wishes was on that transcript.
Now, Adam Schiff actually said, when he pretended to be reading, he said, I want you to make stuff up about Joe Biden, otherwise you know what's good for you.
Yeah. So that's what they've come to. They're now making up what they wish Trump had done, including, and to be completely honest with you, Mark Simone, I know you and I share the same sick hobby of watching MSNBC.
Oh, I love it.
We haven't watched much cable news at all for the past couple of years. It's just, you lose points of your IQ. There are too many commercials. It's just cheerleading. You learn nothing conservative or liberal. It's just, our team is great, their team sucks. But it hasn't been that helpful. However, I did watch the beginning of a couple of MSNBC shows last night. Rachel Maddow had a whole segment where she fantasized Donald Trump killing the whistleblower and the Attorney General refusing to prosecute. So now we're talking about, as we always do, the dream sequences of liberals. They do not want you to see that transcript because, I think it's funny when Trump says stuff like it was a beautiful conversation. It was perfect. A beautiful conversation. No, it actually is beautiful and it actually is perfect. This nonsense about, the way they phrase it, demanding a favor that would help him with a political opponent and holding up, foreign aid. Well, no, that's exactly what Biden did. But the difference is, in Biden's case, he was trying to do a solid for his son, who was collecting millions of dollars from a Ukrainian company that was under investigation. In Trump's case, he wanted an investigation of the corruption. And by the way, Ukraine was already all over that firing of the prosecutor, all over that company. Trump didn't need to, alert them to what was going on. It started in Ukraine much before this. But anything they say about Trump here, it is the exact same thing that happened under the Obama administration. So even in their worst case fantasy version, MSNBC, Rachel Maddow's dream sequence, they have to say, oh, yeah, well, we did the same thing, but we're good, and Trump is bad. See, that's the difference. That's why we're going to impeach him. Trump bad, Obama and Biden good, which I don't think is much of an argument. I think most Americans, if they're not, foreign policy dorks, are going to say, yeah, we give a lot of foreign aid to other countries. I think we can ask for some favors from them now and then. So that's not a big issue. The other thing I was thinking, they keep playing. They do this a lot. They'll play, things Republicans said during the Clinton impeachment.
Yeah.
I wrote an entire book on the grounds of impeachment. I don't think it had been done before. Going back 200 years, it is a term of art, high crimes and misdemeanors. We got it from England. It has a very specific meaning. It is precise. Now, isn't that curious? I didn't know Trump was going to come along. I thought there were a lot of grounds, and there were, for impeaching Bill Clinton. Have you noticed nobody's quoting that book? You know why? Because they have the grounds for impeachment exactly backwards. They keep saying, Well, with Clinton, it was just personal conduct. Yes, exactly. It's not for policy disputes. That's why the Democrats want to get rid of Trump. They don't like his policies. I mean, most of them are just stated and not actually enacted, but we'll leave that aside for the moment. You can't impeach someone over a policy disagreement. Remember when we created the Constitution, we had just thrown off a king. So we didn't want someone who was above the law. But on the other hand, the framers understood that we need to have one chief executive and all the power for foreign policy, for waging war, for executive branch functions, for administering, the various departments should be in the hands of one man. There were checks, but it's not, we don't like what you just did, we're going to impeach you. So the traditional grounds for impeachment were things like, public drunkenness. It's a character issue. You need a man of good character. And I know liberals will all scream and say Trump doesn't have good character, but we're talking about actual character, not a joke you didn't like.
Well, but he's made a big mistake here. Normally the Republicans will defend him, but the problem is everybody in government, every Republican, Democrat, they've all got relatives on the payrolls of companies. They don't want this brought up. They all got their wife, their cousin, their uncle on the payroll getting a fortune.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of stepped on a third rail here that they don't.
Well, I don't, who knows if this influenced him, but man, that Romney has gone bad. Remember.
Gone bad? He was always bad.
Well, we supported him in, 2000 and then again 2012. Why? Because he wasn't John McCain.
Yeah, so.
It turns out all that time we were supporting him, pedal to the metal, because at least he's not John McCain. He was sitting back fantasizing about being John McCain. That's what he always wanted out of life. But the reason I mentioned Romney just now is not only because he got a fantastic primary opponent last time, he's only from senator. I hope that guy runs again. But also, did you see that one of his top foreign policy aides was also on the board of this company?
Just by coincidence, that swamp, boy.
So, yeah, they better be careful about that.
Hey, I just want to say...
Yeah, I assume he'll be impeached. This is... But notice when you hear Democrats talking about it, they will not give you facts. They will give you fantasies. And last night, at least from the beginning of a few episodes I saw, Ari Melber has even lost his mind. He was my last hope for a sane person on MSNBC. He in particular, because he brought on, because he's the only one who would bring on someone to defend Trump and not an ever-Trumper. So I don't know who this guy was. I didn't see the beginning, but I think he was a member of the Trump administration or the campaign or something. And every time he'd answer a question to try to explain, well, no, he wasn't asking for a favor. He was asking to investigate this potential corruption of Biden, demanding, holding on to the check, bragging about holding on to the check, unless the president of Ukraine fired the chief prosecutor who was investigating Hunter Biden's company. That's the investigation that Trump was asking about, actual corruption. Every time he would get close to the word Biden, Ari would cut him off. I think they're all taking, no, you're changing answer the question. I think they're all taking, caffeine pills and they have oxygen tanks in back to make sure Biden's name never comes across NBC airwaves.
Or they do the Chris Cuomo where they jump in. Now, Biden has been totally cleared in this. Hunter Biden has been totally cleared. By who?
Exactly right. Do you think they'd accept that if, Jeff Sessions cleared Trump? Yeah, the Obama administration, but the Ukrainian authorities hadn't cleared the Biden company. Not at all. Also, I'm dying to see the whistleblower. As you know, I think it's going to be Christine Blasey Ford again. It's definitely going to be some hysterical woman, perhaps in the James Comey mode. I think it's very important that the woman, we'll just call the person the woman for now, it wasn't her job to be listening to the president's conversations. The people whose job it was which I think is kind of weird to begin with because, again, we have one chief executive, but we'll leave that aside. There are people, and their job for the federal government is listen to the president's phone calls with foreign leaders.
Yeah.
Make sure they don't say it, or the president doesn't say anything like they didn't have a problem with this conversation. No, this lunatic who heard about it over pizza, she files the complaint. And we know that her book is going to have the word truth in it. But I'm thinking of starting, we'll have a reward for the person who can guess the exact title to what her book will be someday.
Well, I just want to say I thought it was very touching the way President Obama came out and defended Joe Biden this week.
Yeah, there's a dog that didn't bark.
Well, everybody get Ann Coulter's book, Resistance is Futile. What's the book on impeachment? High Crimes and Misdemeanors.
High Crimes and Misdemeanors, and I recommend that you read it, and you will see it is shot through with the point that this could not possibly be impeachable behavior. Democrats always want to impeach Republicans because they disagree with the policy. No, that by definition is not impeachable behavior.
Well, get the book. Actually, just go to AnnCoulter.com or get any Ann Coulter's books on Amazon and follow Ann Coulter on Twitter. And Ann Coulter, thanks for being with us.
Good to talk to you, Mark Simone. Bye-bye.
All right, take care.